Really excited to be here today to get to talk to all of y'all. My name is Paige. I lead our AI sort of developer experience team at Google, which is focused on the Gemini APIs, AI Studio, Colab, Gemma, Jax, and Kaggle. So all of our 3P facing developer tools. Hopefully you've used some of them. If not, you'll get a taste of what they can do. And I'm really particularly jazzed to talk a little bit about our latest Gemini models and how you can use them as part of your agents workflows with tools like AgentOps or Crew AI or whatever those might be. So it's not really a secret that generative AI is transforming everything we do at Google about how we build our products, all the way from YouTube to search to ads to things like docs and sheets in YouTube. We're integrating AI everywhere. And we have a long history of sort of building machine learning into the DNA of the company. We started, I think the company mission statement is something to the tune of, organize the world's information and make it useful. If you squint, that's kind of what AI is supposed to be doing. And so we have a long history of research and innovation specifically focused around machine learning and AI. I began using TensorFlow when it first came out around 2015 and JAX when it first came out around 2018. And it's been really exciting to see all of the great models that have been released both by friends at DeepMind as well as our researchers at Brain. It's been truly a wild ride. I started doing engineering in 2009, building very, very simple models like decision trees. And pretty much everything we were doing back then is now just a careful prompt to a large language model like Gemini, and even more. And so Gemini is our latest multimodal and our most capable model released that can understand video, images, audio, text, code, full code bases all natively. You can do really, really interesting work using Gemini. And we have a few different models available as part of the Gemini family. Today, we're mostly going to be talking about Gemini 1.5 Flash and 1.5 Pro. Pro is our largest version of Gemini that's available externally. You probably don't want to use it for latency sensitive workloads, but it is very, very good at doing these kind of more complex reasoning tasks. Gemini 1.5 Flash and our newest model, Flash 8B, are the ones that are used most commonly in production. They are lightning fast, performing really well on leaderboards, and then they are also multimodal, can understand things like videos and long-form documents and all of that good stuff. They're also performing very, very well in leaderboards. So this is a recent screenshot from LMSys. I'm not sure if this is even the latest version of the Gemini experimental models that have topped LMSys leaderboard, but they're doing pretty well in the arena. And also artificial analysis.ai has really, really useful quality versus price indexes that I encourage you all to take a look at. If we zoom over to artificial analysis.ai today, and I scroll down, you can see kind of a collection of benchmarks that they're grading models on, as well as this quality versus price benchmark that I mentioned before. You want to be in this green quadrant and as close to the left-hand most side that you can get, as well as quality versus output speed. When Gemini 1.5 Flash was released, it created a whole new quadrant, which was pretty exciting to see, and is still kind of the highest in output speed versus quality that you can get to. So if you've been using GPT-4o, Flash is probably your closest cousin to use. You can also see comparisons between latency and pricing. This is Gemini 1.5 Flash over here on the left, and then Flash 8B is even further on the left. I believe it's something like 3 cents per million tokens or something, which means that you could feasibly record everything that your screen is doing 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, analyze all of it, and it would still be less than a fancy cup of coffee. So very, very sort of exciting to consider how the world changes whenever you can do all of these intelligence tasks for next to nothing, and the cost of intelligence goes down to zero. So I'm going to go back to my slide deck. And I promise you there will be a few slides. I am allergic to slides and try to keep them down to a minimum. We're optimizing these models for very large deployments. So the Pro version that I mentioned before goes, it has to be hosted on multiple accelerators on a server. We have some smaller models that like the Gemini 1.5 Flash 8B, as well as some of our open source models like Gemma that have been released externally that allow you to do very, very fast latency sensitive tasks completely on device. So Flash 8B is hosted on servers. Our Gemma 8B and Gemma 2B models are small enough that you could fit in browsers or fit on mobile devices, and you can do pretty interesting things. I'm not sure if folks on the call have heard of MediaPipe. But MediaPipe is kind of both an open source framework as well as a collection of models that you can run to do a variety of things. So there are kind of object detection, vision related tasks like image classification, image segmentation. Like if I was going to go here onto the left and do something like face landmark detection, you can see here that it's sort of analyzing my face through Logitech webcam. It's got the little raccoon guy. And it's also able to do kind of like a grid rendering, which is pretty nifty. You can also do LLM inference directly with these models. So if I was going to choose a model file, go down to kind of one of the downloads that I had before. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, so this is a version of Gemma, Gemma 2. It's 2 billion parameters in size. It's been instruction tuned. It is capable of running on a GPU, so it's just my local laptop's GPU, and it's int8 quantized. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, so hopefully you can see, hopefully you can see. But I can ask it to do things like, please generate a Python function that uses the Google Maps API to find lat-long coordinates for a given city. And instead of sending my request off to a server and requiring kind of like an API call, it's just using the model that I have embedded right now within my browser. And it's running very, very fast to kind of generate text and code related to the request. Gemma 2, Gemma 2.2b only works with text and code, but we do have different versions of Gemma if you do want to prefer open source work or open kind of local work that supports things like multimodal capabilities like PolyGemma. So strongly recommend taking a look at MediaPipe Studio. Zooming back over here. And as I mentioned, we're integrating Gemini everywhere. We have, if you're using our latest Chrome Canary, there's a Gemini model embedded within that. We're embedding Gemini models on Pixel devices. We're using them within Gmail and Sheets and Docs and Slides, and then even in Meet recordings. So as an example, if you have used Google Meet and you've observed the kind of like background blur, all of that is happening via MediaPipe and a background blur capability, which blurs your background and then does that all kind of locally on device, which is pretty rad. Cool. So we talked a lot about context and like putting tokens in context and like why that's important, but we don't really talk much about, well, what is a token and how many, why is it so useful that you can put so many tokens in your context windows? What it gives you the ability to do is do a lot of work with your model without needing to fine tune and without needing to set up something like a vector database. So for rapid prototyping, being able to stuff a lot of information into the context window is really, really powerful. It gives you the ability to have the model analyze lots of information all at inference time. So as an example, if you're looking over a video, Or if you want to be able to summarize large amounts of information or extract out information, then you don't quite know where it is. Being able to say like, hey, here's an entire directory, or hey, here is all of the emails that I've sent in the last year, or here are all of the text messages that I've ever sent, or here is the entire first season of Silicon Valley. Now, please tell me all of these things that I would want to know about it. And again, no fine tuning required. No kind of vector database needing to be stood up. All of this just done completely through natural language prompting. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and go into demo mode, which is far and away the most interesting and fun part of the presentation. So this is AI Studio. If you remember nothing else from this presentation, please remember that you should go to AI Studio to do all of your Gemini-related experiments. It is the best and only place where you can get access to the latest Gemini models. You can see here off to the right this model tab, where you can kind of select different versions. Model cards kind of pop up as you just naturally kind of walk through the different models that are available. We have our experimental models, our kind of GA'd models, so Pro, Flash, and Flash 8B, as well as our open source models, so our Gemma variants, and then also some confidential models that I cannot tell you about because I would like to keep my job. But all of these models are capable of being analyzed within AI Studio. If you kind of click this plus sign right here, you can see that you can connect to data that's stored in your local Drive instance. You can upload files, you can record audio, you can record images or video, or you can pick sample media. You can also generate API keys directly from the AI Studio interface. So all you have to do is click off to the left to say get API key, and then create an API key and attach it to one of your Google Cloud projects. You can, as you sort of experiment with models, you can compare and contrast them. And then there are also different kind of tools and settings that you can see here off to the right. But I mentioned with Gemini, you can analyze even things like video. So if I click here for sample media and then click this video right here because I really like dinosaurs, I can change the model. So here I'm using Flash 8B. Let's use the middle version. Let's just use Flash. And I could say, please tell me the names of all of the dinosaurs that are displayed in this video, and the timestamps when their skeletons are shown. Make sure to give me a fun fact about each dinosaur. And make sure to return this information in table format or something similar, and then hit run. Immediately, Gemini starts working on the video itself. You can see in the token count, this is around 89,000 tokens, so pretty sizable, even though it's only a 5-minute long video. And the information is coming back pretty quickly. So it seems like it spotted Dinochirus, Ornithomimus, Struthiomimus, Allosaurus, Apatosaurus, and gave me some pretty fun facts, as well as timestamps for when the dinosaurs appeared in the video. If you click this Get Code button, you can see everything that you would need in order to replicate the experiment that you just ran in AI Studio in Python, or in curl or JavaScript or Go or Swift or Dart, whichever language you're most familiar with. If you do click Python, you also have the ability to open this up in Colab. And if you hit open in Colab, it shows you this pretty lovely interface where you can kind of experiment with different models, generate content, and you can even create secrets directly within Colab. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see it, but you can add secrets, or you can even just import your keys directly from AI Studio. So it's pretty nifty. If you want to have the cute little kitties and corgis and crabs on your Colab, they're they're available for you to use as kind of an Easter egg in settings. And mini power mode, I encourage you to try that and see what happens. Cool. Excellent. So let's go back to AI Studio. You can compare different models. So if you wanted to see for that given prompt that I had just run, how Flash compares to Flash 8B, you can also kind of run the query again, kind of observe the differences in outputs, and then see which one might be best for your use case. So you can see that it's doing pretty well, even compared to Flash, which would make me consider using Flash 8B for this task. You can create a tuned model if you would like to. So using either a CSV file or kind of pre-formatted data. Once you finish fine-tuning it, you can use it like a REST API, the same as you would any Gemini API. I will note that the fine-tuned model only ends up having a 32,000 token context window. So it's a little bit less capable than the Gemini models themselves. You can also do things like speech understanding. So if I was going to go back to my main window and then say something like, let's record some audio. Trying to think of a good thing to record. I have a book. You probably can't see it, but it's a view from above. It's a history of 200 years of aviation in Ireland, and I'm just going to start reading from it. And then we'll see how well Gemini does at voice understanding. For I dipped into the future as far as human eye could see, saw the vision of the world and all the wonder that would be, saw the heavens fill with commerce, argosies of magic sails, pilots of the purple twilight dropping down with costly veils, heard the heavens fill with shouting and there rained a ghastly dew from the nation's airy navies grappling in the central view. Add to prompt. And then you can say something like, if I could get my mouse to work, let's try it. You can say something like, please transcribe all of the spoken word audio in this clip. And we'll use Flash, try it. And it caught the last bit of me saying understanding, and then was able to capture all of the text from that poem pretty dang well. You can also do things like analyze birth certificates. So this is a Spanish language birth certificate. I asked it to first transcribe all of the text in the birth certificate. And then you can also do things like create a structured output. So say child name, string, make it mandatory, father name, string, make it mandatory, and then also mother name, string, make it mandatory. Run again, or just say, please tell me the parents' names and child name in this birth certificate. And it's capable of analyzing the birth certificate and then returning the data as structured JSON format. You can also specify things like arrays if you would like to, or create objects with nested properties. And these are all supported. As mentioned, if you click the Get Code button, it also shows you precisely how to incorporate that into your code if you wanted to call the model as an API. There are also fun things that you can do around code execution and search grounding. So as an example, let's use the Flash AB model. But as an example, if I said something to the effect of, please tell me the dates of all of the Mondays in 2025, so I will know which days I will likely need more coffee. the model will probably balk. Yep. So you can see here it says, unfortunately, I can't list all of the Mondays. To do so would be a very long list. We can do better. I do not value laziness in my models. So if you turn on code execution, what you do is you give Gemini the ability to write and run arbitrary Python code. So Python in its standard library, NumPy, SciPy, a few other things. We can try running it again. And this is much better. So it uses Python state time module, generates some code, and then provides me with the output. So these are all of the Mondays in 2025. If you hit the get code button, all you have to do is add tools equals code execution in order to turn on Python code execution. This is also the Flash 8B model, which means that all of this work that just happened is on the order of, 1/10,000th of a penny in order to do the analysis, which is pretty magical. In addition to code execution as a tool, you can also use search as a tool. So if I was going to say something to the effect of, please tell me what is an important thing that has happened recently. Please tell me the name of the Department of Efficiency that is going to be run by Elon Musk for the US government or something. This is information that happened past the model's training cutoff date. So if I ask this to a Flash API, it's probably knowing, no such Department of Efficiency, blah, blah. Musk has not been appointed to any such role. If I turn on search grounding, which is behind the scenes running a Google search and grounding the outputs based on those data, run it again. It gets it right. It says the Department of Government Efficiency is a proposed department and is intended, its exact structure and authority are still unclear, and then also gives you grounding sources based on those data, which is pretty nifty. This means that you don't have to worry about setting up custom retrieval. You don't have to worry about making your own kind of calls to search engines. You can just kind of rely on using search as a tool. And again, all it is just kind of specifying it as a tool, a little one-liner change in your code. So that is nifty. You can also use Gemini or the Gemini APIs to generate images. This is using a model called Imagine. So if I was going to, one thing that I think is incredibly cute is please give me a picture of two corgis wearing cowboy hats, running across a green field in the sunshine. And then let's try it. Imagine uses a diffusion model behind the scenes to generate an image, and you can then use the image as a seed for, and these are very cute corgis, very cute cowboy hats, very green field. You can use those kind of images as a seed for another model that we currently have available only in early access, though we've released it externally as part of our Vertex AI offering. But this gives you the ability to create short 6-second video clips. So I'm going to show you, this one is of a bunny knocking over a glass of juice. So you will see the prompt here, a bunny accidentally kicking over a glass of juice, fast action splash, glass starts at a 45-degree angle following over. So you can see what it looks like both as imagined by Vio. Extraordinarily cute bunnies, sometimes no glasses to be seen, and like very stressed looking bunnies, very incredulous bunnies. But if you ground the initial image with an image that you generate via Imagine, and then use that as a catalyst for your video, the video starts making a lot more sense. Again, this is in early access, but should soon be available for you to test, and is also available as a preview on Vertex AI soon to come. Cool. So that is all that I had for you today. I will say that we have a bonus, which is as a result of these explorations that you're building in the LLM Agents Hackathon, you decide that the best path forward would be to create a company. We have a GCP for startups tier that gives you credits, cloud credits for a variety of things. And a variety of tiers. If you're an AI startup, this can be up to $350,000 over the course of 2 years. They're good for the Gemini APIs, as well as things like Cloud Run or Gemma on GKE or whatever you would need to use on Google Cloud. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that. And as a reminder, your one job is to go test out aistudio.google.com. See how it works, use it as part of your kind of model experiments as you're building out agents. And if you have any questions or any concerns, or if you spot any libraries in which there is not already Gemini support, let me know. And feel free to reach out via my email address, which is webpage@google.com. Thank you. Hopefully there are some questions. If not, you all can get back to hacking.